more success you have, the more you sort of force people to re-examine what makes a quarterback successful in the NFL and what traits are most important?
I mean, man, that's a loaded question in a sense. Like, I think, it comes down to obviously decision making, being able to make decisions quick, the right decision, and then obviously just being smart with the ball. I feel like if you can just do those things and do it, the play caller is asking of you and not doing too much, then I think you can help put the team in a successful position. And so that's something that I've, just tried to remind myself of, and, not trying to do too much, not trying to be a superhero and do everything, but make the right decision every single play and do it consistently. And so, I don't necessarily know if that's something that people now are like asking themselves if they're going to go draft a quarterback in late rounds and whatnot. But that's sort of how I do it, and I guess it works.
Successful college quarterbacks so often are fast track to the pros. You weren't, and now all that experience is looked at as a tremendous asset. But when you came out of college, did NFL teams look at it as an asset, or were they wondering like, why weren't you able to leave college earlier?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. Some guys look at it like, man, you got a lot of experience, you got a lot of reps, different scenarios, all that kind of stuff, which is great, and that's what they like. But at the same time, there was some doubt. Like, all right, if you are that good, why'd you stay 4 years? You started your freshman year. How were you not ready after your third year? There's definitely some questions and stuff that they ask and they push. But again, like, that's not up to me. That's something that they do ask and I think that they look at. But for me, I was able to get 4 good years in at Iowa State, and all those reps and stuff I feel like added up and helped me for me to be ready when my opportunity was to come.
One play from last week, the 2nd and 8 play in the second quarter, you're like right around midfield and you saw Minka coming off the edge, and I don't know if you surprised him, but you kind of spun away from it and you found Debo. What was your recollection on that play, and did you fool him with your eyes, because he did not react until the very last second you spun out? Yeah,
I was just trying to go through the progression of the play, see the defense, and then he came off, the edge pretty hot. And so it was sort of like a last-minute thing. I was just trying to get out and make a play. I feel like, the momentum he had coming at me and stuff, for me to just spin out of it, it was tough for him to make that kind of play. So, and then obviously Debo hit him on the scramble drill, so it was a good play.
On the 4th and 1 early, I know maybe that's not your role to campaign to go for it. Was there any conversation, like Kyle deciding to go for it, or was it right away? And then what was your thought process when you knew you were going for it?
No, yeah, it was right away. He immediately started saying, the personnel for the next play, and I was all for it. And I think all of us were. We wanted to, obviously, maintain the momentum, get the first down, and try to score after our defense had just got a 3 and out to start the game. So once we had heard that, we're going to go for it, we were all about it.
Does it seem weird that as long as you've been the quarterback now that you haven't faced the Rams?
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah, just, the game planning, last year, the 2 games that we game planned for them and then not playing in either of them. And then here's my 3rd time doing it. So it feels like I have played against them, but I haven't. So, yeah, I'm excited to.
So what's this week been like as far as just preparing to face them for the first time?
Yeah. Obviously you got Aaron Donald. You got the scheme that they've been doing for a while on defense. And so really we've taken, things that we've done in the past and whatnot, and, building off those kinds of things. And really for me, it's just going to be about going out there, seeing the defense, making sure we're in the right play, formation, all that kind of stuff, and keep it simple and just play our ball. And yeah, that's about it.
Third and 11, you scrambled for 17, up by 23 with like 7:50 to go. Was all the coaches okay with that? Were you okay with that now when you think back on it, or is there some point where you think, I don't know, maybe not this time of the game?
Was that the scramble for first down you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, they were all for it. We moved the chains, and at that point, man, like, we're still trying to, put up points on the board and stuff and keep a drive going. So, everyone was pumped up that we were able to get a first down on 3rd and 11 and hopefully score after that. So it wasn't something like, don't scramble, check it down. It's not like that. Like, here we want to win, and we're going to do what it takes. And hopefully, when I'm in the right situation, I'll do what it takes. And so, yeah, there's nothing more than that.
Kyle said yesterday that running ability in college doesn't always translate to the NFL. It's hard to predict sometimes. How have you sort of experienced that? I mean, has it been easier to gain these yards than you might have expected to? I mean, how have you kind of seen that transition?
I feel like in the right, circumstance or situation, you can pick up some yards in the NFL and stuff. I think in college, if something broke down, I feel like we saw more busted coverages and whatnot. So it's like, man, I can, pick up a bunch of yards here with my legs. Here, obviously, everyone is extremely fast. Doesn't matter if they're the nose tackle or 3-tech. Like, they're going to be fast. They're going to be explosive. And so for me, like, I'm not always thinking run, run, run. It's, how can I dish it off to my playmakers for them to go get the yards? But in the right, situation, if I see some green grass, okay, let's go. And I feel like as I've played more and more, I've gotten a little bit better of a feel of it. I feel like at first I was, a little tentative to, scramble and whatnot. But as I've played, it's like, all right, the defense gives me 10 yards, let's take it.
What you were thinking last year when you guys went to SoFi and Christian had his first full week with the team, and he threw a touchdown, caught one, and ran for one. Do you remember just kind of what you thought of that added element that was coming to the team?
Yeah, that was the second week with us, right? Yeah, so I remember the first week, with Kansas City, it's like, man, I was excited, just like, how are we going to use Christian McCaffrey in our offense? What are we going to do? And so we had certain plays that he was able to come in halfway through the week and play. But then once he had a full week under his belt, going into the Rams week, and then, obviously his versatility to be able to use him, like on the sideline for myself, I was like, man, this is going to be fun to watch. I don't think anyone's really going to expect what we're about to do with him. And so we were all pumped about it. And then, when he actually performed and did what he did, we're like, man, this is going to be fun, having him in our offense now with everyone else. So it was exciting.
Stephen and Christian both talked about it, the selflessness on this team. There's a bit of star power, you could say, in the locker room. Do you think that that's unusual, that everyone's just focused on the team and not on themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it's rare. I think, you have all this, stardom on a team and whatnot, and for everyone to just put the ego aside and be like, hey, we want to win Super Bowl, and we're going to do what it takes. And that's, I think, what we all know is what it takes is to know, put the ego aside. If I don't get all these yards and catches and touchdowns for one game, but our other guy does, like, hey, I did my part to help, win, and that's what we all care about here. And really, the leaders, the guys that have been here for a while, have set that standard. It's not like just certain guys. Like, we've all learned from the older guys that have come before us. So the culture, the organization here is like, that's the standard. So.
How hard is it for you to throw away a ball? Like Kyle, I guess, went over and talked to you, maybe make that decision if that's not there. Is it hard for you to say, let's just check it out of bounds here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, growing up, playing football, all that stuff, it's always been like, man, I can always have a chance, in a play, even if it's not there. And so sometimes to be able to just surrender for a play, yeah, it's sort of tough. Like, man, I got to throw the ball away and lose second down to play third down now. So, sometimes there's certain situations where it's like, man, I feel like I could do more, but, that's what we preach and that's what they believe, and I'm all for it. Like, it's about playing smart with the ball, and if we have to punt and give it back to our defense, like, I'm all for it. That we got a great defense. So it's, picking and choosing your battles with that.
That even harder, just given the talent level of guys around you, knowing that if I can just get this ball to this guy in space, something big could happen here.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, we all know that. Like, if I can get the ball to Christian, Debo, B.A., George, on a 2-yard pass, and then they can make something crazy happen. So I feel like it's definitely always in the back of my mind, but at the same time, it's like we're all human. They can get tackled or something crazy can happen if I do try to force it, so just throw it away. So, yeah, it's something that I'm continuing to learn.
At the end of your 17-yard scramble, you were down on one knee, you gave a little first down signal, you had a big smile. Were you feeling it at that time, and did your teammates enjoy that move?
Yeah, I think in the moment, it's like, man, I'm going through my progressions, I'm trying to, hit my guys first, and then I just felt like I saw green grass, and then to be able to split 2 defenders and get a first down at that point in the game, I'm just trying to, bring some juice and energy to the guys, and I feel like they like, seeing stuff like that. And it was real, in the moment I was like, I'm going to do this because I see my receivers doing it. So had a little fun with it and, just trying to enjoy football.
Hey, Brock, what was the reaction in the film room when you guys watched Ray and Ayuk on the Christian touchdown? What were guys saying? Because, that was extraordinary.
Yeah, it was awesome. The first time we watched it, just everybody's, the sounds that they make, like BA's block first, everyone going crazy about that, and then Ray coming, run around the corner. You can see Ray starting to run, and then everyone's like hyping him up, and when he made his block, everyone was going crazy. So, yeah, that kind of stuff, man, that's what we're talking about, like about, not having ego, being selfless, being able to make blocks like that, even though those are guys that catch balls, score touchdowns, all that kind of stuff, but being willing to block in the run game down the field, we all feed off it, and so we got to maintain it and continue that.
Sam was talking about how much he enjoys the challenge this week of being Matt Stafford and, sort of simulating him for the defense and how important he thinks that is. I'm curious your reflection on how big that role was for you last year when you were the number 2 guy simulating the other team, and how seriously did you take it?
Oh, yeah, it was huge. I feel like obviously you guys see all the videos, like the no-look passes and looking off linebackers and stuff. Honestly, when you're trying to replicate what a NFL starting quarterback does, and you try to do that at practice, you sort of pick up on some stuff, and then you sort of learn things and honestly add stuff to your toolbox, I feel like. So that was one thing. And then obviously being able to, selflessly, sort of put your stuff aside and try to, emulate the other team, for Fred, Dre, like that's what it was really about. He's giving those guys a real legit look. And so, whenever we're, last year when I was on the sideline, seeing our defense kill it, I'm like, shoot, maybe I had a little part of helping them, do that, have a great week and whatnot. So it was huge for me, and honestly, it made me better too.
Who did you do best? Who was your best?
Shoot. Last year, nah, I don't want to compare myself to Mahomes. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, close. Yeah.